Pepe, before coming to this live, we've learned that the Yemenis Ansarullah attacked Saudi Arabia, their oil refinery in, yeah, again, the oil refinery
This oil
in
refinery now
northern
is
part of.
exactly it's out of business for the moment. It's out of
If I'm not
business.
mistaken, it has a capacity of 400,000 barrels a day.
400,000 a day. Out of business already. So this is once again a Yemeni a message. You better come to your senses, or this is going to get only going to get worse. And by the way, was there any peep coming from the signatories of the Mecca Pact? Zero, nothing. And of course, they could even spin, yeah, Saudi Arabia is being attacked by Yemen. Let's go after them. They are clever enough not to get in the middle of this thing, especially against Ansarallah and the Yemeni armed forces. So there's nothing Saudi Arabia can do. They can sign 10 more Mecca pacts. It's not going to change their predicament.
The question is, Pepe, who's gonna outlast the other side? Is it gonna be Iran? Is it gonna be the United States and GCC countries with the situation they're in right now with the Strait of Hormuz, with Bab al-Mandab, and with the American blockade on Iran, Iranian control and dominance over the Strait of Hormuz? Who's gonna outlast the other side?
No, this is crystal ball territory, Diva. We don't know. And anybody who will tell you they know, they are lying. What we do know is that this is going to become fiercer than it already is. And it has all the makings of a forever war. All the elements are there. It could become an absolutely terrifying forever war with ups and down, breaks, pauses. And then the whole thing restarts. Economic war, financial war, the direct connection which was there from the beginning that American armchair analysts just discovered the other day that the war in Ukraine, the war against Iran are the same. Of course, they are the same war, idiots. It was always the same war. And it's a war against the three civilization states, against Russia, against Iran, and further on down the road against China. And in many aspects, already against China in Ukrainian territory and in Iranian territory, and of course, around the trade, commerce connections of China in West Asia. So this will become, the war that changes and is changing the 21st century is this one. It's going to be the title of my next book to be published in the US. The war that changes the 21st century is this one. Everybody thought it would be the NATO war in Ukraine by proxy, or the direct war between NATO and Russia. No, this is the one that is going to change the chessboard much more than any other war. Because West Asia, as we all know, is immensely sensitive for the whole planet because of energy, because this is an oil war. This is an oil choke point war. This is a war against an independent actor which was selling energy bypassing the US dollar. So this is a petrodollar war. This is a war to try to save the petrodollar. This is a war against now the most important power in West Asia, winning, inflicting a strategic defeat, and now winning the war and dictating the terms for a settlement of this war with help from the strategic partnership between Russia and China. So this makes the nightmare for the empire completely out of proportion. People who think across the Beltway in the US, they see that this is a war against two big powers, and one, as Moshen Razai has defined it, the fourth power. All three Eurasia, all three civilization straits, all three BRICS members, all three Shanghai Cooperation Organization members, all three leaders of the Global South. Does the US have all it takes to fight these three at the same time? Everybody knows they don't. And that's why they're freaking out. And that's why especially the elites are freaking out. And that's why they have as their plan B now, okay, let's strangle them economically and financially. As you all know, and as Nima knows, as you, Nima, know very well, Iran can resist anything. They are self-sufficient. They won't be strangled economically. And of course, they have their network of support all across Eurasia, in several points of Eurasia, and especially in the background, Russia and China. So they won't be strangled economically, period. So there's nothing left for the empire. There's nothing left. And it's going to be much worse after the midterms. And if, depending on what we have afterwards, there are two possibilities. One, in the next elections, 2 years, two years and a little bit from now, we have a democratic administration, or if we have an impeachment of Trump and we have Vance as president. None of that will change. It will be a minimal change of degree, but these elements of hybrid war and this forever war against Iran and the axis of resistance is not going to disappear. So we all have to live with it.
Do you think that Donald Trump is going to continue this war till the end of his presidency, or he's going to learn from it? Because the sign on the part of Iranians, when you look at the way that Iranians are talking about it, they basically saying that there is nothing to happen with the Trump administration. No serious thought, no serious people.
No, and now with Moshen Razai as deciding side by side with leader Moshtaba. And Moshtaba, from the beginning, as you well know, Nima, he never believed in any negotiations with the Americans. And everything has proven, his point has been proven by the facts. So this is not going to change. So, the Iranian resistance and the recalibrated way Iran is going to impose its resistance and impose its demand on the US is going to become even harsher for the Americans to agree to anything and to accept anything. So this war can be on slow motion for a long time. And then we're going to have ups and downs. So it will repeat once again the pattern in Ukraine. Everybody thought that the war in Ukraine would last maximum, a year and a half, maximum 2. I remember every time I was going to Russia these past 4 years, the war is going to finish in 2025. Nope. The war might finish, depending on what the Russians do, in the next few months. So this would mean early 2027. Or it could keep going on in slow motion for a long, long time. Because once again, if the war ends in Ukraine, this is the strategic defeat not only of the US, but the whole of NATO, which means the disintegration of NATO. They cannot live with that. They cannot admit it. Just like why the Americans simply cannot relieve sanctions and pay Iran's money back to Iran, because this would be admitting their strategic defeat. It always comes back to the same point. When you inflict a serious, once again, strategic blow against a big power, it's very hard for the big power to recover. And we are, this is where we are in both theaters of the war. And it's going to get much worse for the empire and, of course, for the vassals. And that's where we could place Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, they have to get their act together and change a direction, which they can't. They invested too much in being an American vassal. So for them, it's absolutely impossible to do. Out of the question. There are no solutions for them. And even coming with this Hail Mary NATO style Mecca deal is not going to save them. So this is one of the possible consequences of what's happening at the moment. All these petro monarchies, the GCC petro monarchs, sooner rather than later, they will all collapse. No exceptions. Especially the big brother, Saudi Arabia. Well, that's it, Nima. They have to live with the fact that Iran is winning. And they have to admit it. And they have to face it. Which is something, for instance, that Oman and Qatar, they are already at least starting. Okay, we have to live with them, so we have to cooperate with them. We cannot antagonize them. They were the first two GCCs who understood. The others, reality will tell them. Nima, I'm sorry, but I have to go. I'm so sorry.
No problem. Yeah. Thank you, Pepe. Obrigado.
Thank you. Obrigado. Well, talking to you is always an enormous pleasure. Muito obrigado, but it's going to get much rougher from now on, Nima.
It's going to get, I assume, yeah. You're right.
Okay, let me ask from you the last question today. What is your personal reading of Moshen Razai as the second most important figure in Iran now?
I think he is this, as you mentioned, is the perfect description was the way that you mentioned. He's gonna redefine the whole foreign policy of Iran in the coming decade, in my opinion, because he's gonna remain in this power. You just get back to the Iran-Iraq war. He was the head of Iranian IRGC for the entirety of Iran-Iraq war.
The entire war.
That shows the importance of this guy. And he's going to reshape the whole foreign policy, the whole strategy, military strategy, and political strategy of Iran, in my opinion. He's the main element right now to redefine that. This is the importance. And look at what he has said so far. You see, there is no sign of Iran backing down or trying to capitulate, trying to get along with any sort of, move on the part of the United, because the United States is trying to say they're playing this game of, let's give them some money, frozen assets, let's deceive them. He's not going to play this game with them. He's so direct, the way he talks, the way he thinks. It's going to be his way or highway. Let's put it this way. I'm talking about the Iranian foreign policy, the Iranian strategy. He's not going to capitulate. He's not this guy. And the most important thing about him, he's not a defensive guy. He's an offensive guy.
Offensive, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, this is important. The most important thing about him, in my opinion, is this.